I wanted to go over my overall prediction process and how I incorporate data science into my predictions, along with research and fight film study, and give you guys other information about my channel as well. I think this video will give you guys useful context for this channel, and hopefully it'll answer some questions that may have crossed your mind while you were watching my prediction videos and analysis every week. Here's a little background information for a quick introduction. I have a genuine appreciation for the art and skill of MMA. I admire the mental and physical discipline it takes, the legacy and story that each fighter has and is trying to create, and the excitement that the sport brings. I like how lonely and unforgiving the sport can be at times, and on the other hand, how rewarding it can be with the meteoric success that some fighters can achieve. I like the different forms of martial arts, and how each one must be practiced and perfected. Sorry that I'm rambling. The point is, I love MMA and UFC. I grew up watching it, and I've been making UFC picks for a while now, but they were all intuition-based. I have a background in coding, data science, and analytics, so last year I decided to combine my passion with my skill set, and I worked on creating some prediction models. Each one took days and weeks to create and get it to work, but nothing beats the feeling of working towards something, failing a ton of times, and then finally making it work. So last year, I started using those along with research to make some picks and predictions, and it's genuinely been a fun and rewarding process. I'm averaging about 70% prediction accuracy in my final predictions, and that's on all fights including early prelims and prelims. I share all of those picks and predictions completely free on this channel. When I realized the process has been helping me, I wanted to share it with the community, so I started making YouTube videos in January of this year. I don't sell anything. This is not one giant ad. All I have is a Patreon, which is $5 or $10 a month for supporters who want to contribute towards my efforts, but it's not required at all. So first I'll go over who this channel is for. I upload for two main audiences. One of the groups are people who just love MMA and want to hear about upcoming events, fighter history, people that are excited for the build-up to fights, people who want to know who's likely to win, who can pull off an upset, and how. Genuine UFC and MMA fans who just love UFC content. And the other group, who are equally as important, are people who bet on fights and want in-depth information to get an advantage, such as statistical information from multiple complex prediction models, and someone who goes through all sorts of research outside of statistics as well to make informed predictions and share all of their findings. This includes people who are trying to find value bets, underdogs, and confident, inexpensive favorites. I want to help you all win and win big. I'm personally invested in the success of my picks and the constant improvement of my process to give you guys the best information that I can at all times. Now let's quickly review the videos that I upload. Currently I have 3 weekly videos per event, and very soon I'll have a 4th. The first video is a full prediction/breakdown video, which generally lasts 40 to 50 minutes and is full of useful information. I make sure that each second of the video has valuable information because I don't like wasting your guys' time or mine. This video includes a stat comparison for each fight, including the prelims, every fighter's history, and 2 predictions. The first being a statistical prediction, which is based on data science and prediction models, and the second prediction, which is a much more well-rounded and useful prediction, is where I take that initial prediction and I adjust it based on things outside of statistics, such as a fighter's momentum, their psychology, their training camps, their weight cuts, recent activity, their career's trajectory, and most importantly, their fighter IQ, which I determined through watching previous fights and studying film and whatever other information I can find as well. The second video that I upload highlights promising underdogs and favorites to share valuable bets and picks with you all. These are generally 10 minutes, and I break down the most promising underdogs and review the best inexpensive favorites. Both of those videos have helped many people narrow down their picks and make some good profits. The third video is a recap video that I upload after each event has ended, which summarizes each fight and briefly reviews if my prediction was right or wrong and why. This video is about 10 to 15 minutes depending on the event, and it's a great video if you want a detailed summary of how the fights went and key moments, especially if you missed the fight or you just want to hear what happened again, or maybe you zoned out, whatever, we're all human. And in that video, I also review my accuracy for the night and which ones I got right or wrong and why. That way I hold myself accountable for my picks and I have full transparency with you all. Soon, I want to add a video that also ranks the fight IQ of fighters, which I make note of through my research and fight film studying. Now this one's probably going to be slightly more subjective in nature than my other videos, but I'll still root it in as much logic as I can based on my observations and research. And if you can't tell by now, I love logic, and I don't really make picks or predictions based on emotions at all. Now I want to give you all some more detail into my prediction process and my process to determine promising underdogs and favorites. So first I'll talk about the prediction videos. Like I mentioned earlier, in these videos I show 4 things per fight. For each fight, including the prelims, I show an overall stat comparison, a thorough fight history review for the first fighter and any key records or facts about them, then a thorough fight history review for the second fighter and any key records or facts about them, and then my prediction model results, the weighted average of those results, and my final predictions as well. I have a multiple step approach to make my predictions, and here's where I need you all to stay locked in. A lot of people think that I only use statistics to make my picks, and that couldn't be further from the truth. So let me explain what I'm referring to when I say prediction models, because I know not everyone comes from a data science background, of course. I created 7 different data science prediction models, which include a linear regression model, a logistic regression model, a random forest model, a neural network model, a gradient boosting model, a support vector machine model, and lastly, a 1000 fight simulation model. Now, what in the world do all of those models mean? To keep things simple in this video, I basically fed each model 30 years of individual fight data, which has all stats that are ever available and recorded, and the models then take that data and rigorously train with it and learn all sorts of different things about the advantages and disadvantages that can impact a fight's outcome. There's a ton of data science machine learning that happens in this process, which helps each model understand how each piece of statistical information has impacted a fight with over 30 years of data. And each model learns and understands that in their own special way. The difference in the models are the techniques used to learn about the data. Think of it as 7 different sports analysts that are reviewing all available data to learn about the relationships between each stat, each type of opponent, and more. Not only do they do a statistical evaluation between 2 fighters, but they're also able to pick up on tiny things like what happens when a fighter moves up in weight, what happens when a fighter who's a striker and has strong striking stats fights a wrestler who has strong grappling stats. What happens when fighters have to defend their championship for the first time, and which types of fighters tend to fail consistently? What kind of fighters pull off comeback wins more often? Which stance and fighting style is more advantageous? It evaluates every single detail on every single fight for the last 30 years, and I keep it continuously updated with new fight data as well. So how does that help me or you predict fights? Well, once the models have understood and learned all of that, I feed it the stats of upcoming fighters, and I've coded it to where it spits out the probability of each fighter winning, normalized to 100%. And all that means is both fighters always equal 100%. So for example, for 2 fighters, fighter A and B, it'll give me the results that indicate something like fighter A has a 72% probability of victory, while fighter B has a 28% probability of victory. It even picks underdogs which end up winning, which is pretty cool to see. So I share all of the results with you guys from each of those models. Now individually, each model isn't the best because they're all limited in their own specific ways. Remember that example that I said earlier with the 7 sports analysts? Well, think of each analyst as limited in their own way. But when you take the combined opinion of them, the prediction becomes much more accurate. That's exactly why I weigh the models together to get what I call a weighted model prediction, which balances all of the benefits of each model together. For example, if you go back to my UFC 300 prediction video, you'll see Davison Figueiredo had 5 out of 7 prediction models leaning towards him. On the bottom, you'll see that I gave a weighted model prediction. This is one of the most important stats to watch. These weighted model predictions have accurately picked several underdogs and favorites, and they're accurate about 60 to 65% of the time when weighed together like that. And here's where people think that I only rely on statistics or I don't incorporate anything else, and that's far from the truth. That final prediction that you see below the weighted model prediction is where all of the research and fight film study happen. All of the things that are understood outside of only statistics and data science happen right there. So that's when I start my research process and look into all available information that's non-stat related, which can include recent injuries, recent momentum, their current psychology and mental health, any major news that might distract them from training, their camps, how their weight cut's going, the amount of pressure that they have coming into a fight, their fight IQ, all sorts of things, and anything that's available. So then I'll adjust the statistical prediction to take that information into account. But I don't just stop there. I watch all recent fight film to make some key observations on each fighter's fight IQ, and I'll take note of things like how they maneuver, their adaptability, their aura, their dominance, their countering capability, their awareness in the octagon, and many other things that can only be revealed with film studying. So I make some more adjustments to the probabilities. That's why in my prediction videos you'll see a model-weighted average, which are just the statistical predictions of each model, and then a final prediction which incorporates everything all together. Now, those final predictions tend to be accurate 70% of the time, and that's been tested for half a year now and counting, and they're the most helpful and complete prediction. But I share everything with you guys so you guys see the whole picture. So I show you guys what the statistics show and what all the other things show as well to give you guys a full, well-rounded prediction. I'll do a deeper dive into each model and their specific techniques in an upcoming video, but I think this video's breakdown is useful for you all first. Now, similar to this process, I then study all of the underdogs on the card and highlight which ones are most valuable in my other weekly video, usually titled something like Promising Underdog/Favorites. In this video, I show you guys the underdogs that have the best chance of pulling off an upset, and I support it with an overview of their stats and how they can win based on the studying that I've done on their footage and all the other fun stuff that I mentioned earlier. I also show you guys the best inexpensive favorites to consider. Now remember what I said about not wanting to waste your guys' time? In those videos, I don't include fighters that are heavy favorites and have something like -400 odds because those are painfully obvious and expensive. But we love those fights because sometimes we can drop them in a parlay if we want to potentially improve our risk to reward ratio. That video is used to highlight valuable picks for you all, whereas the prediction video is a logical breakdown of who is likely to win and how. My goal is to help you all win and make valuable UFC content. I don't have a subscription or any premium service. All I ask for is your support. I do have a Patreon, like I mentioned, which has that $5 and $10 monthly support option, but I don't have anything premium to offer. I share everything with everyone because I want to help out everyone. So that's just out of the kindness of your heart to encourage me to keep doing this kind of stuff. You could also support me by liking and subscribing, of course, or showing a brother some appreciation in the comments. I respond to every single comment, or at least 99% of comments. Sometimes it might take me some more time, but I always do. I work on all of this through every evening and night, so it's a huge sacrifice. But I know and believe that it's valuable information, and no one else is likely doing it like me. I love working on this stuff, and I love MMA and UFC. There are a lot of opinionated channels out there, and don't get me wrong, they're smart and make really good picks. They have extensive knowledge as well, so respect to them. But it's really hard to find people that will actually do all of the work and study everything outside of statistics as well, research everything, and present it to you guys like I do for free. So I hope that this breakdown gives you all clarity as to what my channel's about, my overall goal, and how you can use the information that I present to help you succeed in your picks, or just for your enjoyment and for your information. I genuinely appreciate you all for watching this video, especially if you have stuck around until the end, and I love the community that we've built together and that we'll continue to build, and I look forward to giving you all my best work. So thank you all, and as always, see you guys in the next one.